Okay, first problems of Unit 1 review are basically simplifying algebraic expressions. Here we have primarily a distributing and combining like terms. So the first thing we're going to do is, we see this is 5 times a quantity, 2 times a quantity. We're going to distribute the multiplication on both of these. So 5 times A plus 5 times 7 is the first term here. And then 2 times A plus 2 times 4 is the second term. We're going to go ahead and just combine these numerical values here. 2A plus 8, and then we're going to combine like terms. We have the A terms here, 5A's plus 2A's is 7A, and then 35 plus 8 is 43. Fractions, so we see that these are basically all like terms on number 2 here. They're all something x, something x, something x. So this amounts to just adding some fractions. And if you recall, with adding fractions, we need a common denominator. And so what we need is a number that 4, 2, and 3 will go into. And it's usually helpful to pick the smallest number where that would occur. We can try 2 times 3 is 6, but 4 doesn't go into 6, so that's not big enough yet. We multiply it by 2 again, we get 12. We can see 4 goes into 12, 2 goes into 12, 3 goes into 12. So we're going to use 12 as our least common denominator. And in order to get these fractions in the same denominator, we're going to multiply by the appropriate funny form of 1. So on 1/4 here, in order to get 12ths in the denominator, we need to multiply it by 3/3. Because when we do the 3 times 4, we'll get 12. For the 7/2 figure, we need to multiply by 6/6, so that we'll get 12ths in the denominator. And for the 4/3 one, we need to multiply by 4/4, so that we'll get 12ths in the denominator. And now we're ready to go here. So 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 4 is 12, so 1/4 x is the same as 3/12 x. This one is 6 times 7 is 42, divided by 12 x. And then we have 4 times 4 is 16, 12ths x. And now this is very straightforward to add. We have all the common denominators, so we just have to add the numerators. So it's going to be something 12ths. So 3 plus 42 is 45. 45 plus 16 is 61. And 61 12ths x is the answer. I don't think that simplifies any further. Number 3, these are a bunch of monomials added together. This is just a matter of collecting like terms. So here we have some x's together, here's some y's, and here's some constant numbers. We've just got to collect them together. 2x and 3x is 5x, negative 5y and negative 10y is minus 15y, 3 plus 7 is 10. And that cannot be simplified any further. Here we have a string of numbers multiplied together, so we just need to multiply all the strings. So like we have 3 numbers in this string of 5 things multiplied together. We have 2 times 4 times t times 5 times t. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. So we're going to have a 40 when we combine all the numbers. And then we'll have t times t. Actually, I can write it this way just to make it more clear. 2 times 4 times 5 times t. And t times t is t squared. And so that is that one simplified. Number 5, similar here. We have a negative 6. There's a bunch of things multiplied together. So we have a negative 6 and a negative 3. So negative 6 times negative 3 will give us an 18. And then we have an x squared times an x. So x squared times x is, remember we add those exponents. There's an implied 1 there, x cubed. And then we have to multiply these two things together to get 18x cubed as the final simplified expression. 6, we have 2 fractions multiplied. There's a couple of ways we can go about this. One is we could just straight up multiply the tops and the bottoms. If we did that, you would get 10 times 18 is 180. And there's also an x in the numerator. 15 times 4 is 60. So 180x over 60. Well, 180 over 60 is just 3. So that simplifies to 3x. One other way to do this would be to simplify the individual fractions first. I'll show you how that would work. 10x over 15 times 18 over 4. Well, 10 over 15 is the same as 2 over 3. We'll reduce that first, and then we have 18 over 4. That's the same as 9 over 2. And then we have a 2 and a 2 here that can cancel. And we're left with 9 over 3. So 9, that turns into 1. This is 3. And that also turns into 3x. So you can use whichever approach is simpler. You can reduce the fractions first, or just multiply things out and simplify from there. But in any case, the answer is 3x. Here we have 3x minus a quantity. The key here is to recall that we want to think about a 1 being in front of that quantity, so that when we distribute the negative sign, that negative sign will distribute to both those terms. That's the most common error in this kind of a problem. So we have 3x, then minus 1 times x would be negative x, and then minus a negative 3y. You could write it like this, just to be clear what's happening there. So 3x minus x, and then minus a negative 3y is plus 3y. And then we have these two like terms to combine to get 2x plus 3y. And that's the simplified version here. Here we have two sets of nested parentheses, almost always best to work from inside out. So that's what I'll do first, is I'll distribute that 3 here. X, 3 times x is 3x, minus y times 3 is minus 3y. Go ahead and combine like terms within this parentheses here. X plus 3x is 4x, minus 3y. And then we can distribute one more time here. 2 times that term, 2 times that term, 2 times 4x is 8x, 2 times negative 3y is negative 6y. And that is the simplified expression.